Hey there, everybody. I'm Damian Journey, Global Chief Growth Officer at 72andSunny. Welcome to the Sunnyside series. We're coming to you live from Stagwell Sport Beach Clubhouse in Super Bowl 59 week here in New Orleans, where we're celebrating the intersection of sport, culture, and fandom. I'm here with my main man, Bomani Jones. He's the host of The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Bomani, you're a personality. You are a sports legend personality. I don't know how else to describe
I'll take
it, man.
that. I'll take that.
Tell me, how did you get into the sports game?
So it's interesting. I started writing generally as a freelancer when I was 19, going into my senior year of college, and did a few things, did a lot of music stuff, did a lot of, a few things in politics, and I met the late, great Ralph Wiley in the year 2003.
Okay.
And he was writing for ESPN.com's page 2 at the time, and I remember some story had come up, he had sent me a link about it, and I always remember because it was an email, and it was to me and Michael Wilbon, and I just thought it was so cool that Michael Wilbon, I'm 22 years old, right?
You emailed
Michael Wilbon, and I remember I told him, I was like, well, I know some people that might be able to help you out to write the story if you'd like. And rather than have me help him, he called his editors and told them to call me.
Oh, wow.
And that was kind of my step into the door. So I started as a sports writer and then gradually went to doing radio, started making YouTube videos, did television, done podcasts, done, sports television for cable, done premium cable, sports television. I've had a chance to bounce around and do a little of everything.
Yeah. So what do you like most? I mean, there's linear television, there's the podcast space. You are on a number of different styles of shows.
Yeah, I love doing radio more than anything else because it's so intimate.
It's because of the voice.
Yeah, well, no, it's really it's the nature of the medium. I appreciate that, but it's the nature of the medium. And so when you do 3 hours of radio a day, the relationships I had with the people that I were talking to was just so completely different. And, people who call in every day, you get to the point where you know them. And you be like, hey, man, give me a call if you ever need anything. And, those people become your friends.
Wow.
And you become part of their regular role.
Routine.
I've had radio shows that have ended, not necessarily canceled, but ended. And those are some emotional shows on the back end. And people cry and tell you everything that you did for them and how you got them through this and everything else. And it's like, what are we going to do? Without this, how am I supposed to fill this time? I appreciate the intimacy of it. It is a grind. It is really, really hard. But in my heart, I will always be a radio guy. The show I did for HBO was the project that I probably loved the most.
Tell me more about that.
So I did a show called Game Theory with Bomani Jones for HBO, and I'll give you the short version of the journey. Maybe 10 years before the show came about, I met with the then president of HBO Sports, and he said to me, I'm looking for somebody that could be like a Bill Maher of sports. And I looked at him, I said, I'm going to tell you, my man, you're not going to believe this because I'm the person that's telling you, but the person that you're looking for is right here. I'm not offended if you don't believe that it is me, but I know for fact, and my goal had always been to get an HBO sports show that let me put larger issues in context together and try to find an entertainment spin to put together with it. And then fast forward 10 years, I got an email. So guys said, hey, we got this show that we got a pilot to do for HBO, and it was a sports comedy show, and I looked at the deck. It was very interesting, and I said, I'm going to be honest with you. This deck does not work for me. It needs a comedian. I'm not a comedian. I'm funny.
Right.
I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
But the show you want to make, I am not only the best person to host this show, I'm the only person that can host this show. Not to sound, cult of personality about it, but my logic was you needed somebody who sports fans took seriously. They take sports too seriously for you to make it a joke. But you need somebody that can carry the entertainment components of it too. And I bet on myself on the idea that I would be able to carry those things. And so we got 2 seasons of it.
Wow.
And it is I don't have anything bad to say. I loved the opportunity. When it ended, I wasn't upset. I was truly, not to be all fortune cookie about it, but I was truly happy that I had the opportunity to do the 2. It would be ungrateful for me to be mad that I didn't get the 3 when I got the 2 of my literal dream.
Wow, man. You know what's remarkable about your statement is that I watch really 2 things. I watch 3 things. I watch sports. I watch sports talk. And I'll listen to sports talk when I'm in the car, nonstop. And I watch politics when I can stomach it.
Right.
Not often can I stomach it. It's cyclical.
Right.
So I feel like I know you and your colleagues over the course of time quite well, even though I've never met most of you.
Right.
And some fall into the pure funny category. Some fall into the shock jock category. I've always found you to be one of the very few in the purely intellectual category. some guys can talk for 30 seconds. You're like, oh, that was interesting. Other guys, you're like, there's no way I can get the nuggets he's sharing in 30 seconds. I need 3 whole minutes of him sharing his thought. And you've been one of those guys, and I appreciate that because
thank you.
Sometimes sports can be so literal that there's not any deep analysis behind it.
Right.
And to me, it cheapens something that is really magical in our society.
Yeah, I think the one thing, if I had to make a criticism of sports media at this point, is I don't think we show adequate respect for the intelligence of our audience. So for me, one thing I always say, and it's very important to me, is I will never present an argument to you that I myself would not believe. Right? Like I'm going to give you something that can withstand the rigor that I require from an argument. But at the same time, I know that you can understand what I'm talking about because this is not rocket science in that way. It is my job to present these ideas in a way that people can digest and understand. And so once I do that, they think I'm smart. They understand the smart thing that I'm saying. And not only do they understand it, they are then able to go tell somebody else what that smart thing is. That's what I mean by respecting the intelligence of your audience.
Yeah.
Believe that they are capable of understanding things more complex, but also believe in yourself and your ability to package these things in ways that they can then understand. And I don't think as an industry we do enough of that. I think that we are inclined to try to make people argue with each other rather than taking the time to believe that we can present things to these people in ways that they can handle and then later share.
I love that. Well, you're living that because when you communicate through your mediums, your various mediums, that comes through very clearly. I never feel preached to. I never feel dumbed down to. I'm always left thinking more deeply from the conversation that you're having than I did when I walked into the conversation.
I appreciate that.
So you're doing great work. So before we get out of here, there's a Super Bowl happening. There's some teams playing. Quick thoughts on what's your guess? What's your thoughts?
My thought is that betting against Patrick Mahomes is just not something I'm really in the business of doing. That's not a wise way to get paid.
Right.
Right. That's not going to do it for you. I think the Eagles have a very good chance of winning. Somebody else going to have to pick them to do it.
Yeah.
But they are as loaded and talented a football team as I can recall and that I have ever seen. They just got Jordan on the other side. Like, I truly do believe that Patrick Mahomes is the analog to Michael Jordan in a sport where, look, being Michael Jordan in a sport that's 5 to a side is one thing. Being Michael Jordan in a sport that's 11 to a side and your side is only out there for half the game.
That's different.
That's crazy.
That's different.
And he's that guy.
Wow. That is, again, not surprising. Best analysis I've heard about Patrick Mahomes.
I appreciate
Because all
that.
these connections to, like, oh, he's like Brady. I'm like, there's something a
No,
little bit different.
we're past that. We're past that.
It's something different.
Tiger Woods, I think, is the closest non-Jordan comp in the sense to me that no, Tiger Woods did not win 19 majors to pass Jack Nicklaus. I didn't need to see that.
Yeah.
To know what I'm talking, to know what this is.
I didn't need those extra ones to validate his greatness.
Yeah, it's, to me, I believe in the height of your excellence is more important than the idea of longevity, right?
Okay.
Like, that is why, say Babe Ruth is probably a better baseball player than Hank Aaron, or Willie Mays is probably a better baseball player than Hank Aaron, even though Hank Aaron stretched that out. Why Barry Bonds is probably better than all of them.
Yeah.
You know, for that same reason. It's the height of your excellence, to me, is more important than simply the duration of it.
Well, this has been great. Man, I love the analysis. It's great meeting you. I'm hoping that we see you at Sport Beach.
I'd love to, man.
Not only Sport Beaches here in the U.S., but our Sport Beach in Cannes. I'm a 72 and Sunny. We'd love to figure out how to get you on working with some of our brands. I think you would be a wonderful brand ambassador if that's the type of thing you like to do sometimes.
Luckily, you have my phone number, which makes all of these things very, very easy.
Awesome, man. We'll get together and figure out how best to make something magical happen.
I appreciate it, bro.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Hey, and for all of you out there, thanks for joining in with us at the Sunnyside here in, I almost said Cannes, here in New Orleans. Hope you guys have a great time. Find our content on our socials, 72 and Sunny, and also at Stagwell. Thanks so much for joining in.